Hello out there. Welcome everybody to another live stream here from AutoCrit. Now, AutoCrit is the home for authors. We have our fully a functional writing desk where you can plan, write, edit, and polish your manuscript. Our interactive community with other authors such as yourself. Our academy page where we teach you all the different finer points to writing. And we have our author services page where we provide individualized feedback from somebody like me. I'm one of the main story coaches and instructors here in AutoCrit. Today, I thought it would be fun to do a quick overview of how to hold ourselves accountable. We all know the next month is National Novel Writing Month, and we're all going to try to write 50,000 words in a month, right? So if we're going to accomplish this, well, we need to have a plan because it's not just as simple as having an end goal in mind. In fact, that's my first point. It is better to be system centered and not goal centered. And you could say, well, do you mean you shouldn't do something like National Novel Writing Month? No, I'm not saying. But what I am saying is that it's all well and good to say, yes, I want to accomplish this in this amount of time or whatever it is. But unless you have a system to get there, it's just going to be a goal. And the truth be told is until you accomplish that goal, well, you're kind of a failure, right? Because you haven't gotten it. And then once you do get the goal, well, now it's like, what do? I guess you got to move the goalposts, right? Whereas if you come up with a great system, that means even once you've accomplished your goal of that 50,000 words, well, you might be able to use that system to keep going and you might be able to keep being productive over and over again. Just in general, it is better to come up with a plan on how to systematize your creative process and then allow the results to speak for themselves. Often, we're not particularly great at being able to see results in advance. We're much better at figuring out ways to get our creative gear going as best as possible. And then the results just happen organically. Not to mention, along the way, like I said, you don't feel like you're a failure until you accomplish your goal. Every time you meet the demands of your system, you can give yourself a little pat on the back. Now, that being said, yes, you do need to give yourself pat on the back along the way. Do not be afraid to reward yourself in order to keep up this level of accountability. Part of accountability is, of course, being naughty, naughty. You didn't get what you wanted. But on the other hand, part of accountability is, yes, good done. Good done. Well done. You did a great job. How do you do this? Well, it's often bribery, to be honest, right? Like, what are things you like? Do you like ice cream? Do you like coffee? Do you like chocolate? Are there ways that you can perhaps delay or defer those rewards unless you have accomplished what you want in your writing? Fair enough. Are there little indulgences that maybe you wouldn't allow yourself all the time? Is there a way you could perhaps reward yourself for being a good employee by doing that? Think of it really in that terms, right? Frame it as you are going to work for yourself. So yes, you have to be your own boss, but just like a boss does need to compensate somebody for their time, you have to figure out a way to compensate yourself for accomplishing your daily tasks, for accomplishing all the things that you're trying to do according to your daily system. Writing partners, of course, are very helpful in addition to being accountable to yourself. It is helpful, of course, to be accountable to somebody else. Now, there are ways you can get accountability partners. And in fact, I really recommend you go into the AutoCrit community and perhaps find others that would do this for you, particularly as we come into something like National Novel Writing Month, where they might be looking for somebody as well. But keep in mind that AutoCrit provides all kinds of partnership for our authors. We have an accountability club every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. We have a mystery club on Monday evenings, fantasy sci-fi club on Tuesday evenings, horror club on Wednesday evenings. And these are all opportunities for you to come in, let us know what you're doing, and then we can give you pats on the back, we can give you motivation, and we can keep track as well of all of your successes. And, sometimes you just need that boost of confidence, or you just need somebody to understand what it is you're going through. Writing can be incredibly lonely. Because it's something that you generally do by yourself. And if you're spending a lot of time writing by yourself because you've decided that's your job or that's just a major part of your hobby or whatever it is, you do need to reach out to others from time to time, just to re uh, refill your well, as it were. Otherwise, you can get kind of drained out there in the desolate wasteland of lonely writing. Not to be overly dramatic. Now, I do recommend switching up your system from time to time. It is all well and good to come up with a system that works, but don't be afraid to tweak because you might be able to make it better. This is something you can keep in mind as well when you're forming your system. Try a lot of things before you settle on one. So, for example, check, do you write more efficiently in the morning or in the evening? Do you write more efficiently when you're at home or when you're somewhere else? Do you find that thinking about what you're going to write in advance and kind of doing a little bit of prep work makes it go quicker? Or do you find that gives you analysis paralysis? Everybody is going to be different. There is not a one size fits all scenario for something that is this artistic and creative, right? People's minds work differently. Everybody's going to warm up differently, et cetera, et cetera. And so don't be afraid as you are figuring out your systems to keep yourself accountable to experiment and try different things. But again, thinking of the accountability, you do need to apply some metrics to it to determine what success is, right? Because you don't want to be like, well, today I'm going to write in the morning and tomorrow I'm going to write in the evening and I'm going to see which one works better. Well, what does that mean? What is better? Is it how you feel about it? Is it how many words you got on the page? You need to have a sense of what that is. It could be that it's actually just as much about the way you feel about it as it is the words on the page. Because if you don't enjoy what you're doing, well, you're going to stop. So keep in mind everything when you're looking at your metrics. But, often numbers do help. So I do recommend coming up with a strategy in terms of accountability and looking at your numbers. Now, I understand that looking at your numbers can be a little bit difficult to track, but thankfully, thanks to some of our tools in the AutoCrit writing desk, we do that for you instantaneously. Now, I was mentioning all of this tracking that you would need to do to keep yourself accountable, and of course, that'd be very hard to do on your own. But inside the writing desk, we actually will do that for you. So you'll notice if I type something like, the world was a wonderful place. You will see that I have words added today. If I delete words, then you have words deleted today. And then you also have an overall word count. Now, this is all, again, these two numbers are just for today. The word count is the overall word count for this document. So you can see this is all done automatically. You do not have to even think about it. Now, you may not want these displayed all the time. You just may want them displayed sometimes. If you go to the upper right, you can see all of the settings for the word count and the timer within the document. So you're going to hit that button up in the upper right-hand corner, and you can see we can select on and off the word count. We can show the daily added or deleted, or just the word count goal, or neither. And the daily goal is something that we can insert so that we can have a daily goal of words. You'll notice right now, 15 is red. It will turn green when we reach the goal. Well, right now it's 1,000 words. Let's just say it was something very small, like 20. And now you can see that it is turned green for 20. All right, moving down a little bit further, we talked a little bit about timing and doing writing sprints. So I'm going to hit the button to say the show the writing timer. And now in the upper right, I have a little clock. So I can have a 5-minute count up or count down. And so I can choose to do that. As soon as I select how many minutes I want, I could just hit the play, and then you can see it'll count down. Of course, if I would have done count up, it would be the reverse. Now, the Pomodoro method is a way for you to incorporate breaks into your routine so you don't get fatigued. We talked about, not overworking yourself. So if you hit Pomodoro, you can choose how long the duration of your writing sprints are and then how long the minutes are. So I'm going to put in a very small number just for demonstration. So I'm going to say zero point 0.1 minutes and the break is zero point 0.2 minutes. Actually, it should be the reverse. It should be a longer. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter for the demonstration, but this is more applicable of how it's going to be. So you'll see 12 seconds there when I hit play, and now it is just counting down. Of course, you can choose count up or count down. And then once it reaches the end of those 12 seconds, it's going to turn green, and then it will give you a little Z's and snooze as it counts down. And then it will start counting down again as it does the writing sprint, and it'll just keep going back and forth over and over again. All right. So that's great if you are looking at your document, but what about your overall writing career and you want to see that you're on track? So I'm going to go to the goals and stats, and you can see here I haven't really been writing too much. I wrote back September 28th a fair amount, and then I kind of took a big break and I've written just a little bit today. Um, so this shows you all of the tracking that you'd like to see. You can choose words added, you can choose words deleted, and you can choose the range. It will default to the last few days, but you can make it a much bigger range if you want. You can see whether or not you've hit that daily word count goal thanks to our line here that you can move. So let's say I wanted to make it 100 words. Well, you can see here I have hit it that one time. I am 20% towards hitting it today. Streaks, of course, you have to do multiple days in a row. Currently, I only would have a 1 day streak, and I don't have all these words a day because I haven't hit it. Some of these are pretty aggressive, but we had no different authors write at different paces. Finally, you can do goals for an entire project. So currently, right now, I have it set up as if I was going to do NaNoWriMo, which of course is next month. So I would have it set for November 1st to November 30th, and the goal target of 50,000 words. Now, if I had not done it for that month, let's imagine that I did it for this month instead. Well, you can see I've done a little bit of progress, but I really should be 3,333 words towards the goal there, and I am not hitting that. So I will not make my 50,000 words in 31 days at that pace, right? And so these goals are a great way to track overall books. And if you have a certain goal you want, you can put it in here, and you can also add new goal, and this will give you another goal to track. So let's imagine I wanted to do NaNoWriMo, and then I also wanted to do something else at the same time. Now, these goals are going to be tracking anything you do inside the writing desk. They are not specific to the document. If you want to see the one specific to the document, you'll have to go into the document. So let's go back to our little document here. And if you click up here to add it today, you can see your goals and your pace. And this is specifically for this document. So you have a choice. Do you want to track your projects based on the document or based on just your overall writing career? In a similar vein to what I was talking about rewards earlier, it's always a good idea to revisit success along the way, particularly if you're finding motivation difficult as you hold yourself accountable. Because what success tells you is why you're doing any of this. Now, you might say, well, I haven't had success. I don't have a big audience. I maybe never released anything. You've probably had some level of success. If somebody reads something of yours and they're like, oh, that was fun, that was a success. You tried to entertain them and you were successful. If you told somebody the hook of your book and they're like, wow, that's really interesting, I'd like to read it, that is a level of success. While you're getting started, don't neglect to pick up these things, uh, memorialize them, screenshot them, write them down. It seems a little silly or maybe self serving, but it is incredibly helpful to do so. Because again, just like with your project, you're going to have some rough days where maybe you're like, I don't know, am I really cut out to be a writer? And when you go back and you see people saying, oh, wow, that was such an exciting idea. Oh, I really love the way you phrased that. Even if it's something like a Facebook post or something, if they're complimenting your writing, jot it down, let yourself know, because then you can have your little file, your little folder of happy go lucky, congratulatory statements or whatever you want to say, complimentary statements that you can go back to and realize, yes, you have achieved some success in life as a writer already, and you will achieve more if you just put your mind to it. Now, don't forget, we have all kinds of exciting events here at AutoCrit. We have our Fantasy Club and Sci Fi Club, which is every Tuesday at 7 p.m. We have our Horror Club, which is every Wednesday at 6 p.m. And of course, keeping in line with what I just talked about, we have our Accountability Club every week at 11 a.m. And I certainly would love to see you there. If you are an AutoCrit Pro member, you of course have access to all of the writing desk tools that I talked about. Plus, you have access to join any of those clubs I talked about at no additional cost. It is all part of your membership. If you have not become a member yet, I do recommend joining the club, right? Join our membership, and you will find a link in the description of this video that will let you have a trial subscription to AutoCrit for only $1. It's certainly worth the dollar to find out if these tools are helpful to you. If you enjoy the clubs, I'm sure you will. And join us, and we will see you around the AutoCrit community. Well, I certainly appreciate you joining me as I talked about accountability and ways that you can become a more productive author, plus some of the awesome tools we have in the writing desk that help you with just that. Please make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell. Next week, we're going to be back with a brand new writing challenge, and we're going to kind of keep this flow going of accountability and getting prepared for National Novel Writing Month with some awesome warm up exercises, challenges that you're going to love. It is all about being prepared before you write the first word. So we're going to look at that next week. Again, I can't wait for you to join me, and I will see you around the AutoCrit community. Bye, everybody.